morning, children. So we all have completed the contribution of the early nationalists. Okay, so first if I'll ask you who were the early nationalists, so what answer you'll give me? The group of leaders who led the Indian national movement, all right, from 1885 to 1907, all right, and who belongs to the middle class family, and who believes that the intention of the British government is just, and India is facing problem because British government is not aware of the problems which Indians are facing. Is it clear? This was the belief of the early nationalists. First thing. Then we have studied that what method the early nationalist leaders have followed to keep their against the British government. What method they have followed? Peaceful, constitutional and peaceful method within the British Empire, within the framework of the British Empire. Then we have studied their beliefs, all right, all the beliefs which I have made you people underline. Then we have studied their demand, what kind of the demand the early nationalists kept in front of the British government. Demand in case of the constitutional reform, demand is in case of the economic reform, demand in case of the administrative reform, demand in case of the defense of civil rights case. Is it clear? So I have made you people underline. Today we are going to study about the method of the early nationalists. What are the method which early nationalists have adopted? Okay. So the method, about the method, just remember one line. Constitutional agitation method within the framework of the British Empire. What is the method the early nationalists, the main method, if the question comes, right, what is the method adopted by the early nationalists? What is the method? Constitutional agitation within the framework of British Empire. Sometimes it is also said constitutional and peaceful method within the framework of the British Empire. So today I am going to tell you the methods of the early nationalists, that is given in your chapter in page number 37. Is it clear? So the first paragraph itself and the first line of the methods of early nationalists given the same. The methods popularly known as constitutional agitation method. Okay, so what method the early nationalists followed? Constitutional agitation method, the first thing. Second thing, what kind? They believe that policy, they followed the policy of constitutional agitation within the legal framework. One word is used in the book. Legal framework means within the framework of British Empire. Okay, so to fulfill this method, they have followed two set of method. One is first set of method and one is second set of method. Okay, under the first set of method, what they have done, the first thing, they took this challenge to educate the people of India, because at that time the people of India are not politically conscious. They were not very much educated. They were not having the knowledge about the politics. So the first set of method include, they thought that let us first educate the people of India in modern politics, and let us first arouse the political consciousness and to create unity of public opinion. Okay, under the first set of method, they took the objective of three things. First, to educate the people of India in modern politics. Second, to arouse national political consciousness. Third, to create united public opinion. Okay, these are the three set of method. These are the three objective they took in the first set of method. Okay, now to fulfill this objective, what step they have taken? So this is given the 3 points. First, they held meetings where they have given speeches. Second, they made use of the press. Third, they sent memorandums and petition to the British government. So these are the 3 steps they have taken under the first set of method. Then second set of method. What is the second set of method? The second set of method is this. They tried, first they thought, let us change the mind of the people of India. That they have done. Second, they have thought, let us convince the British government. Let us influence the British government. Alright, let us influence the British public. For that, only one point is important under the second set of method. The first, they made use of 3 P's. 3 P's, that is petition, prayer and protest. Is it clear to all of you? So this is the method of the early nationalist. Okay, this is the method of the early nationalist. Now I'll make you underline in the book of the methods of the early nationalists, page number 37, children. Okay, now see in your book, under the method, as I have already told you people, okay, this is the method. Alright, under method you see the method popularly known as, this is important, constitutional agitation method. Okay, constitutional agitation method was followed by early nationalists. First, this is very important. From here to here, this is very important. Is it clear to all of you? Okay, this is very important. Then further, they believed in the policy of constitutional agitation within the legal framework. In place of legal framework, what you will write? They believe in the policy of constitutional agitation within the empire of British government. Is it clear to all of you? This was their belief, within the empire of the British government. I hope you people have underlined. Now come to the first set of method. Under first set of method, what is the objective they have taken? They have taken 3 objectives. First objective, to educate people in India in modern politics. Then second, to arouse national political consciousness. Then third, to create a united public opinion. So this was the 3 objective they have taken under the first set of objective, under the first set of method. Under the first set of method, how many objectives they have taken? First, to educate people in India in modern politics, to arouse national political consciousness, and to create a united public opinion. These are the 3 objectives they have taken under the first set of method. To fulfill these 3 objectives, they have, what steps they have followed? They have followed 3 steps. I have already told you how many steps they have followed. 3 steps. The first, they made meeting and where speeches they have given. What is the second? They made use of the press to criticize the government policy. Which government policy? British government policy. And third, what they have done? They have sent memorandums and petition to government officials and the British Parliament. These are the 3 steps they have taken under the first set of method, children. Now come to the second set of method. Under second set of method, what they have done? What was the main objective of the second set? The second objective of the early nationalists was to influence. This is the main line. Influence the British government and the British public. For influencing the British government and British public, what they have done? They made use of 3 P's, that is petition, prayer and protest. This is the main line. Is it clear? So we have completed method, children. Okay, now come to the achievements of the early nationalists. Come to the achievement of the early nationalists. Okay, what they have achieved? What things the early nationalists have achieved? Okay, now under this, underline point wise. In your book, total, if you see in your book, total 5 points are given, but I'll break this point and I'll create many other points. Is it clear? So you see the first paragraph of the achievement, children. The first. Now under this, you see the first. Now we are going to study what? Achievements of the early nationalists. What they have achieved. Okay, now the first achievement, which is the most important achievement, the early nationalists created national awakening among people. All right, that is the most important achievement. All right, they got success in creating national awakening. People have become awakened about their national goals. That is their first, number 1 objective. Okay, number 2, in the same point, In place of this, you write they. They, this is number 2 achievement. They made Indian conscious of the bond of common political, economic and cultural interests that united them. This is the second achievement. In the first point, there are 2 achievements. Okay. First achievement is the early nationalists created national awakening among people. Second, they, in place of this made, you write they made Indian conscious of the bond of common political, economic and cultural interests that united them. Okay. What is the third point? Third point is that the early nationalists trained people in politics by popularizing the idea of democracy, civil liberty, secularism and nationalism. ठीक है, उन लोगों ने क्या किया, इंडिया के लोगों में पॉलिटिक्स के प्रति पॉलिटिक्स को बहुत पॉपुलराइज किया. कैसे पॉपुलराइज किया, किस आइडियोलॉजी के तहत? उन्होंने डेमोक्रेसी को पॉपुलराइज किया, सिविल लिबर्टी को पॉपुलराइज किया, सेकुलरिज्म को पॉपुलराइज किया और नेशनलिज्म को पॉपुलराइज किया. तो ये जो सेकेंड पॉइंट है ये आपकी हो जाएगी थर्ड पॉइंट. इज इट क्लियर? नाउ सी द फोर्थ पॉइंट. ओके, अंडर द फोर्थ पॉइंट, then under the third point, now under the third point, your first point is the third point. You see, the early nationalists did not pioneering work by exposing. This is the number 4 and the most important achievement of the early nationalists. What is the most important? They expose the true nature of the British rule in India. They have exposed, they got success in exposing. The early nationalists did pioneering work by exposing the true nature of the British rule in India. This is number 4 point. Is it clear? Then what is the fifth point? In the same third point, the last line, they weakened the foundation of the British rule in India. This is number 5th point. Then what is the 6th point? They said that, what they have said, India must be, this is number 6th point. Under 4th point it is given, India must be ruled in the interest of the Indians, not British. One line you have to write, not British. Is it clear? That is your number 6th point. And number 7th, some of the achievement which is given in the point, and all points are important. What they have demanded under constitutional, under various categories, what fulfilled? Only 4 are fulfilled. Only 4 are fulfilled. Is it clear? Now these 4 you write. We have ended here in 6th point. This under 5th, the first point will be 7th point. 7th achievement. What was the achievement? The appointment of a public service commission in 1886 in India. In India you will write whose effort, due to whose effort the public service commission in India is established, is appointed, due to the effort of early nationalists. This is 7th point. Then this is number 8 point. What is the 8th point? A resolution of the House of Commons for simultaneous examination for IAS in London in India. One of their demand they have created under administrative, which is fulfilled. The British government got agreed that now civil service examination, Indian civil service examination is going to held not only in London but also in India. This is their achievement. This is number 8 point. Then number 9 point is what? Appointment of the Welby Commission on Indian expenditure. Under the economic reform, they have demanded one thing. Yesterday I have discussed with you that they need to curtail their expenditure on army, and they have to use the money saved for solving the problem of poverty and famine in India. And this has been for this British government were agreed, and they have appointed Welby Commission on Indian expenditure. This is also a number 10th achievement is the Indian Council Act of 1892 was established. So these are the achievements. Total how many achievements, children? Total 10 achievements we people have done. We people have done total 10 achievements, children. Is it clear to all of you? So we have completed achievement of the early nationalists. Okay, now listen to me carefully. Criticism of the early nationalists is not there in your syllabus, so cancel it. Then official attitude towards the Congress is not there in your syllabus, so please cancel it. Okay, Then we will study about the three important leaders, okay, prominent. All these two topics are not there. Directly come to the page number 39 and see prominent early nationalist leader. We'll study the role of Dadabhai Naoroji. We will study the role of Gopal Krishna Gokhale. We will study the role of Surendranath Banerjee. So in this you people have to do nothing. I'll make you people small points underline, and you people have to learn their role. Okay, now let us start with the Dadabhai Naoroji and his contribution. Okay, now just see all of you in your book. I'm going to start with Dadabhai Naoroji. So his contribution I'm going to make you people underline in the book. His contribution. First point, first of his small. India's unofficial ambassador. Question come in 1 marks. Who is the India's unofficial ambassador? Who? Dadabhai Naoroji. This is his first contribution. So this is your number 1. Okay. So his first contribution, because he got the title of India's unofficial ambassador. Then come to the second point. What is the second point? In the same paragraph, he founded London India Society. That is his second contribution. Small. What he founded? He founded the London India Society. Okay. Then what is the third point in the same paragraph? He was the first Indian to become the member of the British House of Commons in England. This is his third contribution. Okay. First contribution, he is the India's unofficial ambassador. Second contribution, he founded the London India Society. Third contribution, he was the first Indian to become the member of the British House of Commons in England. This is the third contribution. Now second paragraph you come. Okay, now you see under his contribution, under first point, second paragraph, last 3 lines, it was due to his effort that in 1983 the House of Commons passed a resolution in favor of holding the IAS examination in England and India simultaneously. This is his fourth contribution. It is due to the effort of Dadabhai Naoroji that British government agree to hold ICS means Indian Civil Service examination both in England as well as in India simultaneously. This is his fourth contribution. Fifth contribution in the next paragraph. In 1866 he founded the East India Association in London. That we have already studied. This is his which number contribution? Sixth contribution. Okay. Now come to the seventh contribution. Seventh contribution in the role in the Congress. You see third line. Took an active part in the foundation of Indian National Congress and was elected its president 3 times. 1886, 1893, 1907. This is your seventh contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji. Okay. Then eighth contribution. His eighth contribution. Okay. What he has done? Like resolution on self-government, boycott, Swadeshi, national education was passed by Congress under his presidency. This is his eighth contribution, children. This is his eighth. So total how many contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji? I told you 8 contribution. Okay. Now come to the next. Okay. Next point. His ninth contribution. Page number 40, his ninth contribution. The credit for demanding Swaraj from the Congress platform for the first time goes to him. This is the 9th point. Okay. Then 10th point will be this one. Expose the economic. Under this you see Dadabhai Naoroji view on Indian economy are given in his work Poverty and Un-British Rule. This is the book he wrote. Sometime come the name of the book that and question come who wrote the book. So what his view on Indian economy he has written in the book, and what is the book name? Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. This is the very famous book written by him. This is his 10th contribution. And just the next line, his famous drain theory. We have studied about the drain theory. So who gave the drain theory? Dadabhai Naoroji. This is your 11th contribution. His famous drain theory explained how India's wealth are being drained to England through various ways. Is it clear to all of you? These are the total 11 contribution of the Dadabhai Naoroji. 11 contribution I have made you people underline, children. Is it clear to all of you? Now come to the Gopal Krishna Gokhale and his contribution. Gopal Krishna Gokhale and his first contribution is this. He was awarded the title of CIE, that is Champion of the Indian Empire. Question may come, who got the title of Champion of the Indian Empire? It is Gopal Krishna Gokhale. This is his first contribution. Now come to the second contribution. Second contribution. Okay. This under his contribution, you come to the first point, then you underline the second. Here is the second contribution. He opposed the policies of the British government whenever necessary. Then this is your third contribution. Then these 3 points which is given, we have completed in the second contribution. So if this first one will be the third contribution, second one will be the fourth contribution, and third one will be the fifth contribution. And you have to write one thing, one common thing. What is that common thing? This one which is given here. He criticized the government. You write, he criticized the government. He criticized the government for incurring huge expenditure in the British Army, for adopting the policy of racial discrimination in appointment of high post, for imposing production tax on cotton. So total 5 contribution. Then come to his 6th contribution. Okay, this one. This 6th contribution is the first dot. This is your 6th. He played an important role in passing the Minto-Morley reform. This is your 7th contribution. He also served as a member of the Indian Public Service Commission and urged to increase the share of Indians in higher service. This is the 8th contribution. During his visit to England, he tried to pursue the British statement and not to give effect on the partition of Bengal. Is it clear? Then which book he has written? This is his 9th contribution. This is his 9th. Gokhale set up the Servant of India Society, one organization he has formed, very important, Servant of India Society in 1905. Is it clear? Then come to the, we have ended at 9, then what is its 10th? In 1902, Gokhale became the member of the Imperial Legislative Council. This is his 10th contribution. 11th, he pleaded in the council for reduction in salt duty and the abolition of excise duty. This is his 11th contribution. Okay, so these are the contribution. And then this paragraph is important. Gokhale and Gandhiji. Gokhale and Gandhiji. What is the relationship between Gokhale and Gandhiji? Okay, then Gokhale went to South Africa where he helped Gandhiji in his fight against racial discrimination. First thing. Okay, then Gandhiji accepted Gokhale as his political mentor. Question come many times. Who is the political mentor of Gandhiji? It is Gopal Krishna Gokhale. This is something very important line, children. Okay, now only one Surendranath Banerjee contribution is left. Okay, only one Surendranath Banerjee